I want to talk about wheels.
So there are so many options when it comes to choosing a wheel and tire that it's almost overwhelming. But once you've decided on the design and you've decided that that's what you want on your Jeep, usually this raises a lot more questions. Like, what size do I really need? What backspacing do I need? What the hell is offset? And how does that affect my wheel? Well, today we are going to dig into all of those terms and help you choose the right size for your rims and tires for your rig. So stick around. You're going to want to know this before you make your purchase. Welcome back to Jeeping for Beginners, folks. Once again, my name is Josh, and today we are going to discuss an extremely hot topic, and that is how to choose the final measurements for your aftermarket wheels. Now listen, there are a ton of opinions everywhere, but there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of facts when it comes to discussing terms like backspacing, bolt pattern, or heaven forbid, offset, which everybody is scared about. It can be overwhelming. It can be discouraging, especially once you've chosen the design that you want, but you can't figure out how to get either the look that you want or the performance that you deserve out of your rim. So let's talk about each one of these terms, and let's see if I can help you clarify it and make an educated decision before you buy your aftermarket rims. So let's talk about rim size. Should you go with a 15-inch, a 17-inch, a 20-inch? Well, everybody knows that rubber weighs more than aluminum, so there is a theory out there that by increasing the size of your wheels, you're actually saving a little bit of weight. There's also a theory out there that having a ton more rubber on your sidewall is a lot safer off-road, so you should shrink your wheels down to the smallest size that you can fit. But I want to talk about the performance and the economical impact of your rim size first. On an average, the goal size tire that you're trying to reach is usually about a 35-inch. So a 35-inch tire on a 15-inch rim can be extremely cumbersome, heavy, and believe it or not, quite expensive, considering that 15-inch wheels aren't nearly as popular now as they used to be, say, 15 or 20 years ago. But putting 35-inch tires on a 20-inch wheel, although it might save you some weight overall, can actually be even more expensive than trying to locate a 35-inch tire for a 15-inch rim. To get the best of both worlds when it comes to weight of your rim and tire combo and price and availability is usually about your 17-inch rim size. Since COVID, availability on your oddball size tires like your 20 inches, your 18 inches, your 15 inches has been nearly impossible to accommodate. Being somebody who's been in the automotive industry for more than 20 years, I can tell you I've never seen anything like it. But finding 17-inch is still available for your use. Now, since the goal size is usually about 35-inch, on a 17-inch rim, that still gives you plenty of sidewall to be able to air down your tires for a comfortable off-road feel, but it also gives you that perfect weight ratio that your Jeep can handle. So if you're looking for an all-terrain or a mud-terrain tire, I suggest keeping it simple and staying with a 17-inch wheel. So now let's talk about the width that you need. This is a factory steel wheel off a JL. Now whether we're talking JK, JT, JL, doesn't matter. They're all usually about the same size. The width of a rim is measured on the mounting surface for the bead. On a factory wheel, your width is about 7.5 inches. Now, a factory tire on a Jeep is usually about 9.5 inches, so this is perfect to accommodate that size tire. However, since the goal size here is about a 35-inch tire, most of those are going to come in 12.5 inches wide as far as the tire goes. So we're going to need to widen your rim. Here's the rule of thumb. You want your rim width to be within 3.5 inches of the section width of your tire. So if your tire is 12.5 inches wide, the minimum rim width that you want to run is going to be about 9 inches, which puts us right about here. Now the good news is when you're looking at aftermarket wheels, 9 to 10 inches wide is usually the norm that you're going to find, so there's no real worries there. Now up to this point, we've chosen a 17 by 9 inch wheel, and you may have already come to that conclusion for those measurements. That's the easy part about what we're doing. Now comes the tricky part, and that's backspacing and offset. Now most people tend to think that they're the same thing, and this is completely untrue, and getting these numbers wrong can adversely affect your performance and the look that you're going for. Let's dive into what backspacing and offset means before you purchase your wheels. So we're going to continue to use the example of our factory steel wheel. Let me explain backspacing first, okay? On a factory rim, your backspacing is usually going to fall about 6 inches. Here's where they get that measurement. This is the mounting surface of where the rim is going to bolt up to the hub on your axle. This is the inside lip of where the bead for the inside of the tire is going to sit. So that measurement of 6 inches for a backspacing on a factory wheel is a measurement from this to this straight out as a straight distance. Now, we were talking about factory wheels being about 9.5 inches wide. So when this is mounted on the Jeep, it has a perfect true roll to it. But if we're going to go to a 12.5 inch wide tire, we need to adjust this backspacing. Otherwise, you're just going to hit your control arms, body, frame, and other things, and it's not going to be comfortable for you. So we're going to get into a little bit of math here, okay? So a 12.5 inch wide tire is going to be about 3 inches wider than your stock tire. Now, because tires and rims are symmetrical, we're only going to need half that measurement, because when it's set on the rim, only half that measurement is going to be on this side of the tire versus the other half being over here. So that means that ultimately we are going to be 1.5 inches wider on the inside of this wheel than we were on a factory setup. So in order to compensate for that 1.5 inch variance, we need to move the center of this mounting surface back in the wheel by the same distance, about 1.5 inches. So that would leave us at a 4.5 inch backspacing in order to accommodate your 35 inch tire. So I know that that can seem complicated, but it's actually really, really simple. When you increase the width of your tire, you need to increase the distance that the rim is away from the body. Otherwise, we're going to rub, and we don't want to rub. That makes for a very uncomfortable ride. So at this point, we've decided on a 17 by 9 inch wheel, and we're going to run a 4.5 inch backspacing in order to pull that rim back to that center point so the tire doesn't rub. All right, folks, if I haven't lost you yet, now is the fun part, and that's going to be the offset. Here is where so many people get hung up, confused, because there's not the correct information in multiple places that I've looked online. Again, I've actually been in the tire and auto industry for almost 20 years, so this is something that I have learned over and over and over again, and I'm going to see if I can keep it simple for you. So here we go. The center of your rim, regardless of what size we're talking about, needs to run center and true to the actual hub on the axle to your vehicle. This is geometrically the safest way to run the tire, provides the best cornering, braking, steering, and handling, and it's basically the reason auto manufacturers run it perfectly center. The offset measurement is that measurement. Offset measures the center of the rim, or therefore the center of your tire, in relation to the exact center of the hub on your vehicle. Now, you'll notice on this wheel here that this is about to center. However, if we measure our back spacing 6 inches back, this is the mounting surface where it actually mounts to the hub. So it's not the same measurement. The offset set to 0, okay, puts the tire and the rim perfectly center over your hub. Now this measurement can be changed. The reason that the option is there to change it is to control factors like stance, maybe widening your track, or getting a little bit more control off-road. Primarily, what a lot of people consider this measurement to be is the look of your rim and tire. Changing this measurement doesn't naturally flow in our way of thinking the way you would logically think that it would flow. A 0 offset puts the center of your wheel and tire above your hub. A positive offset actually pulls that rim and tire over the center of your hub, which is going to give you a little bit better steering. It's also going to give you sharper braking because it's putting the weight of the vehicle more in the center of the vehicle. Now, a lot of people think positive pushes it out. It's backwards. A negative offset moves the rim and tire outside of the center of that hub, allowing for a wider stance, a wider track, and usually better control over obstacles. So without getting too confusing, a standard setup is going to be a 0 offset. This puts the center of your rim over your hub. The most common setup that Jeepers like to use is a negative offset in order to push that rim outside the vehicle just a little bit so you get a nice look to it. Okay, so if I haven't completely confused you yet, here's the simplest way to look at it. A negative offset widens your track. A positive offset narrows your track. The offset measurement is completely different and not related to your back spacing measurement. You still need at least a 4.5-inch back spacing to set that tire away from your body, but you can actually control or fine-tune the way the tire looks or performs on the Jeep itself. So at this point, we've chosen a wheel that's a 17x9. We've got a 4.5-inch back spacing. Truthfully, you can almost stop there because that gives you the clearance that you need and the setup that you're going to need in order for the tires to physically function on the vehicle. Offset, that's your fine tuning. That's where you're going to get your look and your performance. Most Jeepers prefer a negative offset. When you shop for a wheel, there's usually options. -6, -12, -18, somewhere in there. Now, it does not make it dangerous or unsafe, as these measurements are still regulated by the DOT to ensure that the rim and tire are going to function properly on your vehicle. In my particular case, I prefer a -12 offset. This allows the tire to stick out past the body just enough to give you that really mean look, and it gives me a nice solid feel on the ground for a lifted vehicle, so it feels a lot more stable. As a quick review, your rim size is going to be the total diameter of your wheel. Your width is going to be the mounting surface of your bead. Your back spacing is the distance between the mounting surface on your hub to the inner lip on the wheel, and your offset is where that rim and tire run in relationship to the center of the hub on your axle. All right, so you excited? We chose a 17x9-inch wheel. We're going to be looking at about a 4.5-inch back spacing and a -12 offset. Is that it? Well, you know, the biggest question that I see is, what does that look like? We are visual creatures. So before we go and drop $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 on a set of wheels, we want to know that it's going to look the way we want it to look. So since that size happens to be exactly what I run on mine, let me show you that this is what that looks like. So as you can see, this is a comfortable look on a Wrangler, not too wide, not too narrow, perfect tracking, and I am also running a 35-inch by 12.5-inch wide tire. All right, folks, I hope that that video answered more questions than it raised for you. Once again, if you have any more comments or concerns, or there's something that you want me to clarify just a little bit, don't hesitate to put it down in the comments below, and I'll get to it just as quick as I can. In the meantime, this is Jeeping for Beginners, and if you're new to the channel or been visiting a few times but haven't made that commitment, we would love for you to be a part of the family. So why not hit that subscribe button? We're trying to reach a goal of 2,500 subscribers by the end of 2022, and we would love to have you as part of the Jeeping for Beginners family. In the meantime, once again, my name is Josh. This is Jeeping for Beginners, where we explore the little things and the details to help you enjoy your Jeep more. So stay safe, happy Jeeping, and we will see you next time.